We've spent countless days in the wilds of Red Dead Redemption 2 already, and we still feel like we've barely scratched the surface of what this incredible world has to offer. After completing the main story and a lot of the side quests though, we feel like we've got a decent handle on how things work way out west, and we wanted to pass some of that knowledge on to you. So saddle up, here are 8 things you need to know before starting Red Dead Redemption 2.
All right, girl.
Just like in the first Red Dead Redemption, your horse is your best friend and most vital tool out there in the wild. But the ways that you can interact with it have changed. Now you can feed, pat and brush your horse, and calm your horse when it gets nervous. And you can even revive it from near death should a nasty fall or a bullet take down your noble steed. Performing these actions maintains your horse's health and stamina cores, meaning they can ride faster and longer and survive better in battle. But there are other reasons for keeping them happy and healthy. Strengthening the bond between you and your horse will increase its maximum health and stamina, and unlock new tricks like rearing, skid stops and horse drifting. So it's good to remember to give your horse a little reassurance with L3 every so often. Bear in mind though that not all horses are created equal, and certain breeds have much higher base stats than others, so you might not want to get too attached to any old nag you meet near the start of the game. That said, you don't have to get rid of them either. You'll be able to own and house multiple horses in the stables as the story progresses, and you can sell any of these later too. We definitely recommend buying an Arabian when you can. They may look almost comically small, but they are just about the swiftest breed we've come across so far. Plus, just look at that glossy coat.
Yeah.
The camp that you share with your fellow outlaws may not always look it, but it's home. A place where you can hitch up, relax, check in and chat to your friends. It's also a useful hub where you can eventually get pretty much everything you need to save you going to a general store. Contributing to the camp's shared stock of money is good for your honor rating, but once you get access to the ledger, you can also pay for various upgrades that will make your life easier. Buying leatherworking tools for Pearson will mean that he can upgrade your equipment, for example, and buying a chicken coop will improve the benefits of the stew he cooks for everyone. Probably even more useful though is upgrading and maintaining the camp's stock of food, medical and ammunition provisions that you can take what you need from and replenish right there from the ledger. It's handy as you'll usually be in the camp before any big missions kick off, and you can take what you need right then and there. Plus, as you accumulate more money as the story progresses, the cost of keeping everything topped up is pretty minimal. And when you've made their lodging that much comfier, the people are just nicer to you. As they would be, I guess. Nobody likes sleeping under a rock in the swamp.
Well...
You need a ride home, ma'am?
When you're out wandering the world, it's good to stop for those in need when the opportunity arises. Sure, some of them might be out to rob you, but more often than not, these random encounters almost always lead to something good, sometimes dozens of hours later. For example, while out hunting in the woods surrounding Valentine, one of the game's very early towns, we came across a bear hunter with his leg caught in one of his own traps. We freed him and gave him a little whiskey for the pain. He gave us anything we wanted out of his knapsack. We took the canned sweet corn, and then we went on our way and thought no more about it. Literally 10, maybe 20 hours later, we were riding through a mining town far north when we overhear a guy talking to his friend about excruciating pain outside the post office. As we get closer, he recognises us, tells his friend all about how we saved his life and offers, as a token of his gratitude, that we put any item at the local gun shop on his tab. Now there's a good deed that did go unpunished. It's also worth giving money to the poor when you can too. Offering 25 cents to a blind man or a homeless veteran may not be much to you, but they'll appreciate it and often press a tonic or a potion into your hand as thanks. But they might also give you some information. Rumours they've heard about a local big shot, or the location of where and when a local poker gang meet for an easy mark.
Partner? Hey, mister. Evening.
On that note, remember that holding L2 is crucial to getting the most out of every interaction in this world. When you highlight a person, you usually have the greet or antagonize options. Though greet is a pretty broad term that can be used to continue or wrap up a conversation you've already started. It's essentially a be nice to button. L2 can also give you options to gift those in need items or money, or it can be used to diffuse or escalate tense situations. Some people might take offense to you using it too much though, and they might ask why you're staring at them. You can also use L2 to highlight animals, and we won't rest until we've praised and patted every single dog and cat in the Wild West. Generally speaking, L2 is just a useful tool to get every bit of information out of any given situation. You can use it on your fellow outlaws to ask them for more context on your current mission. You can use it to focus on a show you're watching. You can even use it to try and make a move, if you're lucky.
Well done.
Poor thing. Come here. Okay. Lord have mercy.
Red Dead Redemption 2's map is vast, and it can take quite some time to travel to the next town over to collect requested supplies or turn in that side mission. You can buy a train ticket to get to places you've been to before, but learn from our mistakes. Your horse won't follow you there, or at least ours didn't when we tried to do this fairly early on in the game, meaning you could end up quite stuck out in the middle of nowhere. The best thing to do is to unlock fast travel as quickly as possible, though it isn't immediately obvious how to do this. And you can no longer fast travel from any camp you've made out in the wild. You can only do it from Arthur's spot at the main camp. Once you get access to the camp's ledger, you'll first need to upgrade Dutch's lodgings and then upgrade Arthur's, which will give him access to a map by his bed from which you can fast travel to points you've previously visited. Be aware though, this fast travel only works one way. So though you may head directly there, you will often need to ride back yourself. We found that heading out in a direction to do a quest often means that you'll travel back towards a camp automatically as part of the quest. But failing that, you can always plan things in such a way that you'll hit multiple side quests on the way back to break up your journey somewhat. And even if you can't, you'll almost always get sidetracked by things happening anyway, so don't worry about it too much and just enjoy the ride.
Alright, there we go. Oh, Arthur, come here. Come over here. I want you to meet our friends.
Pleased to meet you.
Well, ain't you just the toughest teak mountain man?
Oh, you be quiet, Anastasia. Anyone can tell this one is a pussy cat.
Exactly. Yes, he's a pussy cat.
The Compendium is where Arthur stores information about the world and everything in it. You can study animals to learn their specific breeds and benefits. You can pick wild herbs to learn their properties and uses when cooking and seasoning your food. Sometimes though, if you pay a little bit of extra attention, you can learn about the specific uses of flora and fauna a tiny bit more quickly. Once, out in the wilderness, we came across a man near death, who looked like he was choking. We gave him some medicine and he eventually came round and thanked us for helping, but he also warned us not to pick and eat the plant with tiny pink flowers, as he did, unless we had a death wish. There was one of those plants nearby, so we had a closer look, and by doing so, unlocked a crafting recipe for poison arrows and throwing knives. Almost everyone out there has something new to teach you, in other words, and you never know when and how a piece of information will prove useful. On that note, you should make a point of picking up side missions, initially found via a white spot with a question mark on the map, whenever you can. Not only do they really add to the overall tone of the game and give you additional insights to Arthur's character, but just like with the first Red Dead Redemption Stranger missions, they introduce you to a whole host of interesting, complex, funny and heartbreaking characters that make the game that much more fun.
You can't stand there.
What, in the street?
Yes, in the street.
Is it your street?
Just get out of here.
Why?
I said, just get out of here.
Listen, partner. I'm waiting on a lady.
Some of them even feature gameplay not seen elsewhere in the game. Some seem to only unlock when you perform certain actions out in the world, like saving a man from choking on a canapé and taking his business card as a thank you and by way of introduction. It's also worth ticking these missions off as you go, as and when they appear too. Many characters will make reappearances later in the game as you move through new areas, and it's much easier to keep them moving at a pace rather than having to travel back and forth through familiar towns and brand new locations. One of the main things to remember about Red Dead Redemption 2 though, is that it's a huge game. And it's so large that some skills won't even be unlocked until you're at least 20 hours in. The main campaign is even longer than that, and that's even before you factor in all of the side missions, random events, hunting challenges, collectibles, crafting and cooking recipes, minigames, activities, Easter eggs, serial killer hunts, and more. Take your time to enjoy it all, because it's gonna take a long while for you to see everything this incredible world has to offer, and there's almost too much to take in before even new sites and activities open up. This is a world that rewards players who pay attention to the little details, whether that's an old rumour about a ghostly figure being spotted in the window of a rundown old farmhouse, or whispers of night folk out on the bayou, or an old and confused man rambling about how the darkness has taken him. Pay attention to everything, because taking time to explore almost always pays off. Let us know how you're getting on out in the wilds in the comments, and tell us about any secrets or Easter eggs you've uncovered too. Do like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon for more Red Dead Redemption 2 videos in the very near future. But until then, thanks for watching. Bye.
Mark well what I do say.
And she was mistress of her trade.
Diddle all the day. Put my hand upon her toe. Mark well what I do say. She says, young man, you're rather low for the diddle all the day.
I put my finger